What is good, nation? Good morning to everyone. 1 year anniversary show. Good morning, Raiders. We're going to go ahead and do the damn thing. Got an action-packed show for y'all. So without further ado, let's go ahead and kick this thing off. Here we go. Protect the shield. Good morning, brother. How you doing? Oh God, Lunatic Raider Allegiance. What is good?
We on? Oh, hey!
We on. None other than Mr. Fist, bringing none other than our guy, Joe Moore, bring out none other than the Violator, Brain Aubrey, bring out none other than the notorious Mitchell. Good morning, Raider Nation. Welcome to another episode of Good Morning Raiders. I am back. Well, Good Morning Raiders is back. On a 1 year anniversary show, I started this crazy thing 1 year ago, almost to the day. We're going to go ahead and celebrate and do a damn thing. We have a lot to talk about. Literally, we're on the brink of the final game of the season. The nightmare is almost over, y'all. But before I do, if you guys haven't done so, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button on this channel and on my guest channel. We got some hot guests. I had to do it extra spicy today. You already know it's a 1 year anniversary show. Come on, got to do it right. But before I do, let me go ahead and hit up the chat. Again, appreciate everyone rocking with me on this Saturday morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So let me go ahead and hit up the chat again. Salute to everybody in the building and everybody pulling up. Real quick, shout out to my guy Robert Payne in the building. Salute. Appreciate you, my guys. Salute to I'm Not Bueno in the building. Salute, brother. Appreciate you pulling up. Armando in the building. What is good, my guy? Salute, brother. Rorschach. Salute, brother. Thank you for pulling up. Let's see. My guy, Navman in the building. What is good, my guy? Raider Ryan, a member for 8 months here at Just Raiders. Let the off season and the rumors begin. Raiders. You already know, my guy. We're going to go ahead and get into all that this morning for sure. Shout out to my guy, Raider Will. Appreciate you, my guy. Thank you. On the congrats on the anniversary. Appreciate you, my guy. Salute. All right. Let's go ahead and let me bring out my guests for today. We're going to go ahead and do a panel style today here on Good Morning Raiders. Let me go ahead and bring out my first guest. He ran it back with me back in March. You guys know his content on YouTube, on Instagram. Fire content. Let me go ahead and bring out my guy, none other than Raider Alex in the building. What is good, my guy? Salute, brother. Appreciate you pulling up. Thank you for joining me this morning, man.
Oh, yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me on. And salute to you on the 1 year anniversary, man. It's a big milestone for the podcast. And, salute to everybody in the chat as well.
Thank you, man. Thank you for sure. But let me bring out my other guest, my other esteemed guest for this morning. He is my co-host on the Wednesday show. He just popped off a new show yesterday, the No Huddle podcast. Very unique show incorporating all 32 NFL teams. Uh, so definitely something to go ahead and catch on Friday nights for sure. But let me go ahead and bring out my guy, none other than Raider Jeff in the building. Salute, brother. Good morning.
Salute. How we doing? Congrats, man. Congrats on
Thank
year
you.
one for sure.
Thank you. Yes, it's been a grind for sure. Uh, memorable moments for this particular show, having different type of guests. Looking back on it, just a whole year. I never thought, for one, I never thought I would get to go ahead and meet the likes of like the Violator and
Yeah.
talk to all these different type of content creators like your guys, like yourselves, like Rita Alex, like you, Jeff, and just being able to go ahead and share the screen and just talk football, man. And I feel blessed to be able to go ahead and do that and do it in this type of in this form, in this space. So um, let's go ahead and keep it rocking, for another year and definitely. But it has been a grind. It has been a ride for sure, and I'm loving it for sure, 100%. But I have a great show lined up for everybody. As you guys know, this is the 1 year anniversary show. If you guys didn't know, now you know. But more importantly, we are on the brink of the last game of the season versus the Chiefs. The nightmare is almost over. But not only that, we have the number one pick, uh, you know, on literally looming in tomorrow's game. We're going to go ahead and talk about that and much more. But let's go ahead and kick this thing off. Raiders versus Chiefs preview. As you guys know, we are 2-14 for the season. This is the last game of the season. And like I just said, the Raiders can go, they're on the brink of getting the number one pick. We still haven't fully secured it yet, but Raiders can still get the number one pick with these scenarios. And let me go ahead and pull that up real quick. That way we can go ahead and view it together as a team. Here we go. And so starting today, if a couple of these scenarios happen, we can go ahead and secure the number one pick for the 2026 NFL draft. Starting today, if Francisco Seahawks and then two out of the three teams win, which could be Cleveland, which should be Cincinnati, New Orleans, or Detroit, we secure the number one pick for the NFL draft. So 3 out of the 4, we essentially tie. Even if we win tomorrow, we win the tiebreaker. So I think starting today, everybody's saying, I probably hate to say it, we're probably going to be rooting for the Niners to go ahead and win. Cincy versus the Browns. I feel pretty confident in that one. New Orleans and Atlanta, that's a little bit up in the air. And Detroit versus Chicago, that's a little bit up in the air for me too. But, obviously, Raiders lose tomorrow, they did automatically lock in the number one pick. If the Giants win tomorrow, we lock up the number one pick. But what are you guys' thoughts with the whole scenario tomorrow? There's a lot of things that are also kind of swirling around it. There's no Geno Smith tomorrow. We're going to go ahead and have both AOC and Kenny Pickett to play tomorrow, and they're going to be splitting duties. So some people are afraid that AOC might come out guns blazes and might fuck around and win this game tomorrow for us. But what are you guys' thoughts on the whole, draft picks scenario and everything going on? I'll start with you, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty good chance we're going to get the number one pick. I mean, obviously, like going into this game, typically we would look at this matchup like an easy loss going against Kansas City, but obviously they're also in like Cancun mode as well. Just kind of what I've seen from the Raiders, though. I mean, they're just a bad football team all the way around. Like just top to bottom, I still think the Chiefs have a better roster than us, and I feel like this team it kind of looks to they're probably like checked out as well. I think there's a really good shot we're going to get the number one overall pick, but it is kind of nice to know that, like, if they do mess around and win, I mean, those scenarios you listed, I mean, honestly, we've seen crazier things happen. I mean, like, I definitely could see the Niners beating Seattle. I think the Niners are a better team. Cincinnati, to me, a much more talented team than the Cleveland Browns. New Orleans, too. I mean, that one, like you said, is probably a little bit more of a even matchup. But I feel like the Saints at this point they maybe have their franchise quarterback in Tyler Shough, so he's kind of like fighting for his job. So I wouldn't be shocked if they go out there and try to end the season on a good note going into the off season. The last one, I don't know. I do think Chicago's going to win that one, but at this point, Detroit, they're just trying to like maybe spoil. They're maybe just trying to get Chicago to. They're trying to fight for like the playoff standings. They might be able to knock them down a seed or two, and that might be the difference. And then having to go on the road in the playoffs. So we'll just have to see, man. But at the end of the day, I think the Raiders are going to have that number one pick.
Yeah. What about you, Jeff? What are your thoughts on the draft scenarios to lock up the number one and tomorrow's game?
I I always hate putting the faith in another team to set our destiny, basically. But this is almost like a role reversal type thing, because we want that number one pick. So in order for it to happen, we have to count on us to lose. And I hate having to say that. I don't want to say that. I want to see us win a game. So in all honesty, I'm hoping that everything comes true, that the Giants win, these other teams that we need to win, and then we can go out there and beat the living shit out of the Chiefs and get the win. That's what I'm kind of hoping for tomorrow goes down. And plus, obviously, tonight with San Fran playing tonight, that's what I want to see. I mean, who doesn't want to end with a win? But if it comes down to one of those other options don't work out, and then we just have to hope that, Aiden O'Connell doesn't, like you just say, or Pickett have just like the game of their life. And, next thing you know, we win by like 20 something points. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I just don't like having to put the faith of something else in another team's hands.
Yeah, for sure. And
I just hate that it comes down to the fact that we have to lose in order to do that. And it just, that drives me nuts.
Well, I mean, if those three out of four teams that I just listed right now win their games, then winning tomorrow it wouldn't matter, right? The Raiders could go into that game, and if they win that game, great. If they lose that game, no hurt. It's not a foul either. So it just takes a lot of pressure off being able to already have that decided. So that's kind of the factor that I think a lot of the fans, I'm pretty sure also some of these players are going to go ahead and keep their eye on and going to have special interest on these certain games to kind of see how that kind of pans out and plays out. Because if them going into that game versus the Chiefs, now they can go ahead and play comfortably. A win versus the Chiefs, this is still a win at the end of the day. And you already know I had to wear my "Fuck the Chiefs" shirt today. It's that time.
Also breaks the streak of us being shut out.
Correct. Yeah, and as if a lot of people probably forgot, and they purposely forgot, we were 0-6 last year, and we're on that trend. We're 0-5 currently, so it'll be two back-to-back years if we lose tomorrow versus the Chiefs. And I don't know, that still doesn't sit right with me, even for the number one pick. But I personally will be rooting for these guys, for these teams, the next 2 days. Hopefully, by the time we get to kick off, we already got that already cinched up, and we're good to go, and we can just go ahead and play that game. Real quick, let me go ahead and shoot over to the chat again. Appreciate everyone pulling up and rocking with us on this Saturday morning. Salute to everybody. If you guys haven't done so, hit that like and subscribe button on all these channels you see up here. My guy 401 Raider Jeff, and then Raider Alex. Make sure you guys go ahead and give him subscribe on his channel. Again, and then obviously this one. Make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Real quick, salute to SoCal South in the building. Salute, brother. Appreciate you pulling up. Salute. Shout out to John Parker in the building. Salute, brother. Thank you for pulling up. Toby in the building. Salute, guys. Appreciate you pulling up. Let's see here. Shout out to Leo in the building. Salute, brother. Hey, man. Thank you for pulling up, brother. Salute. Thanks for the congrats. Appreciate you, my guy. And he just got to Vegas, so he's going to the game. He's in Vegas. I don't know if he's going to go to the game. I'm pretty sure. I heard tickets are pretty cheap right now. So
yeah, I'd assume they're like $50 right now, bro. Like
50, $60. Go ahead and cop a couple of seats. There you go. That's what's up. So appreciate you pulling up. Salute to my guy Rorschach Raider in the building. Appreciate you, my guy. One of my mods here at Just Raiders. Salute, my guy Raider Laker Nation 5-4. Salute, brother. Appreciate you pulling up with the Just Lose Baby. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you pulling up. All right. So let me go ahead and continue on. So tomorrow's game is actually a pretty big game for Genty. He has a couple things that are on the line tomorrow. Genty tomorrow has a chance to pass Josh Jacobs for the most scrimmage yards and also the possibility to join Josh Jacobs as the rookie hitting over 1,000 yards. So he needs 90 yards to pass the 1360 scrimmage record, and then 112 to hit that 1,000 yards. So big game for Genty. It's a tall order, especially with this offensive line that's been obviously terrible this year. What do you guys thought? Do you think Genty is able to go ahead and reach these milestones tomorrow? I think probably the scrimmage yards probably be a little bit more easier. The 1,000 yards might be slightly a little bit more difficult, but the way that we've been kind of playing, and he's been averaging maybe 60, 70 yards tops. It is a tall order. What are you guys' thoughts for Genty on reaching those milestones tomorrow? I'll start with you, Jeff.
Did the offensive line change from last week, or is it the same?
Yes.
So no, I don't think he's got a shot. I'm sorry. I'd love to see him do it, but unless the offensive line got way better in the last week, I don't see it happening.
Well, it didn't get better, but there is a personnel change. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up, and let me go ahead and pull up the injury report real quick. Dylan Parham is actually listed as out for tomorrow's game, so he will not be participating in tomorrow's game. I don't know exactly what the actual lineup is going to be, but with no Dylan Parham, that changes things a little bit. So are we going to see potentially maybe DJ Glaze move to guard? Don't know. Same thing. Are we going to see more of Charles Grant? Is he going to get more reps this time? So all that is going to play a factor. I don't think it's going to be the same.
I think what you're going to probably see is, because you saw a lot of it last week, Mafi was in there playing a lot. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if you see more of him out there tomorrow.
Yeah.
I still don't think Genty hits that. I want him to, but I just don't see it happening. Mm-hmm. That's a tall order.
That is a tall order. What about you, Alex? What are your thoughts on Genty being able to go ahead and hit those records tomorrow?
So he needs 112 rushing yards to get to that mark.
Yeah.
So he needs 112 to get 1,000, and then 90 just to go ahead and break
What
the
they are.
scrimmage one.
Yeah. I think the scrimmage one, he should be able to do that. Like, I think he'd at least get like 50 to 60 rushing yards, probably, like 40 or so receiving yards. I think he'd definitely hit that one. Kind of like you said, though, the rushing one, it's going to be tough all season long. We just haven't been able to run the football, especially like last week. I think the Giants were like one of the worst defenses against the run, and we couldn't like run anything on them. So yeah, I don't think there's a good chance he's going to hit that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
112 yards is a tough ask.
112 is tough. He's had breakout games, but I think with this defense, it is a big task. And that's why I go into this game, knowing that I don't think we're going to go ahead and pull off a dub that what more people were kind of scared with the AOC thing, even though the whole AOC is Andy Reid's kryptonite, but with the defense, literally 2 months ago or 3 months ago almost, we got literally slapped 31-0 by this Chiefs team, and people tend to forget a lot of that was also the defense. The defense literally held us at 0. That's a hard thing to do. Yeah. So I think with and looking at that injury report, even though they have a lot of injuries, I still think that their defense is still good enough to go ahead and keep us at bay and prevent us from actually pulling out a win. So, yeah, it is a tough order, but hopefully, Genty at least can get one of those records tomorrow. If he's able to hit that 90, I think he can go ahead and, he can go ahead and walk away with his head up high for sure.
I agree with Alex and yourself on. I could see him doing the combined, hitting that 90, but I think getting 50 to 60 yards rushing is definitely feasible. Anything beyond that, that's tough.
Yeah.
But it also depends on how many times he gets to even touch the ball. How fast do we abandon the run like we usually do this season?
Yeah. Right. Then also too, it's not like an incentive based thing, right? It's not like he gets like a bonus hitting this or anything. Yeah.
No, somebody looked that up the other night on one of our shows, and they said that there's no incentive.
It's not on there. Okay. So it's just accolade. It's just an accolade that he would have. Yep. Okay. Gotcha. Cool. Yeah. So yeah,
it's a personal mental milestone is what it comes down to. Just again, 1,000-yard rushes aren't what they used to be.
Yeah. 17-game season now, so it's
and it sucks, with the whole Genty bus type conversations that happen throughout the season, and I don't think you put it solely all on him. You could only do so much the way that this offensive line really played. At times, it looked like a JV squad. At times, teams would constantly do whatever they wanted. They would just, we would have 2 or 3 guys just literally creaming Geno Smith at will at times. It really looked like that. So, the record is out. I mean, the stat is out there that he's already starting negative contact like 2 or 3 yards back. And that's just how bad this offensive line played. So, if you had him, you have to go ahead and have 2 or 3 guys miss just to go ahead and get back to the line of scrimmage and then start producing positive yardage. That's a tall order, and it also based on the type of scheme that we're running. We ran a lot out of shotgun, and that was also, not in his favor as well. Really quick shout out to my guy AR with the $5 super. Jeff, Alex, Jay, salute gang. Any of you guys going to Vegas? I'm not going to Vegas. I'm going to be watching the game at home tomorrow. Jeff's out in New England, so unless you're going to go ahead and get on that Learjet, bro.
No. The purchase for the new jet hasn't gone through yet, so no.
Okay, it's still pending.
I'll be with my chapter tomorrow watching the game at Buffalo Wild Wings up in Mass. So,
yeah. No, unfortunately, I didn't have that game plan. I would have to I would have to most likely drive to Vegas, but yeah, I didn't really have that lined up per se. So I'll be at home watching the game. We'll do the post game tomorrow for sure. But uh, going into tomorrow's game, another question kind of also looms out on the horizon. Will all the rookies finally get all the reps, and will all the rookies finally get some burn tomorrow? And we're talking about Jack Bash. Jack Bash was dealing with an injury last week, and it looks like, based off that injury report that I pulled up earlier, he's going to be active for tomorrow's game. Dante Thornton, Caleb Rogers, Charles Grant, JJ Pegues, Tonka Hemingway, and then Darian Porter. Are we going to go? And then obviously Genty. And then are we finally going to go ahead and get to see all those guys? And what type of impact are they going to go ahead and really have on tomorrow's game? My thoughts basically, they should all play at this point. Nobody should really be riding the bench anymore. I think we're being the last game of the season, playing the Chiefs. This is the time. This is the very last game. You can go ahead and do some real evaluation and see what you potentially have on the draft picks that we just went ahead and drafted this past draft, right? Who we're going to keep, who we're going to go ahead and part ways with, or who still is worth keeping to develop. All those questions are super important. My thing was this: a lot of Raider Nation was literally chanting to go ahead and have Charles Grant come in and start getting reps probably the last 3 or 4 weeks, right? And we finally got to see him, I think, last game, and then he did pretty well. He got about 7 snaps, and he did pretty well. Same thing with Caleb Rogers. Time before that, he came in later in the season, and then as soon as he started coming in, he did fairly well. So some of these rookie offensive linemen are looking like they have some promise, right? We'll still need a lot of work in that offensive line, but with having being this the key issue, at least we have some potential there, and maybe some guys maybe some positions that we don't exactly have to fill, or maybe we can go ahead and add just depth to it. What are you guys' thoughts on having the rookies play on these 2 offensive linemen that had minimal reps so far, but shown some potential? I'll start with you, Alex. What are your thoughts with the whole rookies playing tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, yeah, I definitely think they should. I think they will. I was watching the Pete Carroll presser. I think it was yesterday. I only watched it for a little bit, but I thought I heard him say that they're going to try to get as many players out there as possible. I think they'll definitely get reps, but I would love to see them actually start a full game, especially Charles Grant. Like, what's the point of having Stone Forsythe out there last game in the regular season? He's a veteran at this point. There's probably a good chance he's not even going to be on the roster next year. If Pete Carroll's gone. So you might as well just start Charles Grant for the whole game. He might struggle, and if he does, it's not a big deal. At the bare minimum, you just want to give him like a full game to get the reps. And, after that, he can maybe kind of build off of that into the offseason. Maybe if he has a good game, it gives him a little bit of confidence going into 2026. Or, like I said, if he struggles, at least now he can see on tape, things he needs to improve on, things like of that nature.
Jeff, what are your thoughts? I know you're a big proponent of the offensive line, and we've done shows together where you and I have been vocal about really putting an offensive line together this off season. So what does tomorrow indicate if you have these rookies come out and play? Especially Caleb Rogers, Charles Grant. What does that mean? How important is it for them to go ahead and play?
It's real important. And like Alex said, Pete did mention this week that everybody's going to play. So he's going with the old Pee Wee football thing where every kid gets to play this season. So finally, everybody's going to get to play. Because, look, let's be honest. The chances of Pete being here next year are slim to none, I'm sure. So let's let the rest of the organization, meaning the scouts and the GM and the potential who's going to come in as a head coach, see some of these guys on tape in the middle of an actual NFL-style game. see what they can do against the ones versus the the opposing team. Let's get something down on film that shows their tendencies or the inadequacies, so the new regime can make a decision on what they want to do with this roster. And I agree, Forsythe should be gone. There's no reason why he would have to stick around. I mean, we're looking at a potential whole new different offensive line next year. And if
Right.
it starts with the 2 rookies that we just drafted this year being the ones that really need to be evaluated, then they both need to start the entire game, no questions asked. Just get them out there. Same thing with Betch and Thornton and Porter. We already know what we got with Genty. There's really no. If they want to sit Genty to save him, protect him from being injured, I'm fine with that too. But on that offensive line, especially, man, we got to see what we got with these 2 kids. I'm sorry. Grant needs to play the entire game. There's none of this rotating him in and out bullshit. Get his ass out there. Let him play the whole goddamn game.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it. All for
Yeah,
it.
I agree.
It's evaluation time.
It's evaluation time, and and if we're able, if Charles Grant continues to look, the way he looked the other day, uh, on on a full game basis or even half the game, that goes to show like, hey, this guy that pick might work out, might pan out. He might just need more development. Obviously, coaching is huge, and we don't have, and obviously, in my opinion, we don't have the proper coach to be developing some of these guys. And it
He already
goes to
said he doesn't develop players. Remember that.
yeah.
He's here to win.
I'm talking about the son. I'm talking about the son. The son, obviously
yeah.
is not
You gotta go,
not
bro.
the ideal coach. Gotta go. So and you can even
He's so
go ahead and
bad.
point to the regression
So
of
bad.
DJ Glaze. Like, would DJ Glaze have regressed so much if he had a better coach? I don't think so. I don't think he would regress so much. It does happen, but if you have proper coaching, some of these things you can go ahead and correct throughout the season, and you can see, a second better half of the season. But it's just DJ Glaze has been getting constantly cooked on that right tackle position. So, yeah, I would like to see what we have in these guys, and that way we can kind of, have a better assessment on the positions that we need to fill for this draft. Obviously, Tonka Hemingway defensively has been doing pretty good. He has been very noticeable. I would like to see more of Pegues. Pegues hasn't been as active. Hopefully, we get to see more of him tomorrow. Darian Porter, you already know we've seen him throughout the season. He shows some promise there. It still needs a lot of work, obviously. But for him only being in the position for 2 years and showing some promise, even at this level, it speaks volumes. So it speaks volumes. So I would like to go ahead and see more of these guys for sure tomorrow. Hopefully they get to play all the full game, if not majority of the game. But I want to shift over to this really quick. Pickett and AOC to play tomorrow. And this, obviously this was announced earlier in the week, or even it was announced earlier in the week. And then Pete Carroll comes out saying Kenny Pickett and Aiden O'Connell will go ahead and play versus Chief. They're gonna go ahead and split the duties. And a lot of Raider Nation is currently concerned that when AOC comes out, and especially if it's a close game, he might fuck around and win this game, and we might potentially end up losing the number 1 pick if those other teams don't pull it. If those 3 out of 4 teams don't pull it off and win their games, we might fuck around and lose the number 1 pick. Luckily, we just go down to number 2, but being number 1 is so important. We have so much leverage being at number 1 for different reasons, and so many different ways you can go ahead and play that out. But what are you guys' thoughts for tomorrow? Having these 2 guys split the duties, what do you think AOC's impact is going to be? He hasn't played all season long. The last time he played was in preseason, was the last game of preseason in Arizona, where he got hurt. And I was there for that game. He did not look impressive at all. He really struggled through that game. Leo, who is in the chat right now, we were together with Nate at that open practice, we got to see AOC also play during that time in person, and he looked worse in that open practice in that scrimmage game, but obviously it's just scrimmage. But he didn't look impressive at all. He really struggled. So what are you guys' thoughts with the whole Kenny Pickett and AOC splitting duties tomorrow? I'll start with you, Jeff.
You really want me to say?
Yeah, so I want you to say.
I at this point, why even bother? Just put Pickett out there, and I agree, because this could be the time that the last thing we need is for someone to come in and want to play the hero and kind of do something silly, like, actually win a game for us. I can't believe I'm even saying this, about upset that we could possibly win a game. I don't know, man. I don't think the whole flip-flopping quarterbacks. I mean, unfortunately, the best option would have been if they would have taken Cam Miller off the practice squad and let him and Pickett go out there. We already know what we got with AOC. He's the backup.
Yes.
Plain and simple. He's not going to be the starter for us going forward. I've come to grips with that. I've always been a supporter of AOC 12 since he's been here. But no, Leo, he doesn't get carried out on the
That's a good question, bro.
I saw that. I saw him put that up earlier too. I would have rather seen Pickett and Miller out there. Let's see what we got in Pickett. Let him play a whole half. Let Cam Miller play a whole half, and go from there. I don't agree with the whole swapping the quarterbacks in and out, and you get this series, I'll get the next one type of thing. Again, we know what we got with ALC 12. You already know what he can do.
Yeah. Thank you, Jason.
I think it's kind of a waste. With our luck, plus he's probably going to go out there and get hurt again anyway. So
yeah. What are your thoughts, Alex, on the whole splitting duties tomorrow between these two guys?
Yeah, man. I think, like, just based off of this, man, I think this kind of confirms the Raiders are going to lose tomorrow's game. Like, it just kind of shows they're like treating this game like a preseason game. You only see this type of stuff in preseason. So yeah, I definitely think they're going to have as many young players play as possible, and they're going to split snaps between quarterbacks. A little bit ridiculous to me, in my opinion, kind of like you said, especially with Aiden O'Connell, like, you haven't played him all season long, and now you're going to play him when the season's essentially over. I mean, why not just play Kenny Pickett, or like you mentioned, Cam Miller? At least that would have been a little bit interesting, man. At least, like, we don't really know what we have in him. I mean, he probably would have struggled, and that would have kind of worked out to what we're trying to do, try to secure that number one pick. But yeah, man, I just also, too, you look at the offensive line, like Geno Smith was getting his ass beat last week. Like, what's Aiden O'Connell gonna do with that type of pressure? It's gonna be rough out there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the other thing is, why didn't we take him off the practice squad as soon as Geno went on IR? We should have made the move then.
Yeah,
I don't know what they waited for.
It might have been too late. He might have been going through. I think the waiver. I think they still have to go through waivers.
Yeah, it's possible. I get that, but why? Yeah. I mean, I'm not sitting there saying that Cam Miller was the potential future for this team, but would have been nice to have been able to evaluate him, seeing as though we drafted him. We already cut him once, and then we were able to re-sign him to the practice squad. It just would have been nice to see, what he could have done. But whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah, and that whole the Dolphins picking up Cam Miller off the practice squad did raise a lot of eyebrows. Even though it being the last game of the season for them, I don't know if I think their plan is just to kind of have that backup, because nobody. I mean, if people don't know, anybody that you pull from the practice squad, you have to automatically sign them to the active 53-man roster. So that's what the Dolphins did, right? Because they just pulled them off our practice squad. So for whatever reason, Mike McDonald sees some type of potential in them, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be just kind of as emergency case only. He has that backup quarterback, but obviously going into the offseason, and is he going to really stay on with the team? Is he going to get cut? All that, those questions loom. But for them to choose Cam Miller out of, like, I don't know how many quarterbacks out there currently in the league, and they also could approach guys that are currently not working out. I mean, we saw what did we say? We saw Indy go ahead and try to they went out and tried to get Phillip Rivers to come back and play as well. So there's guys out there that are just sitting on the couch too, but they decided to go ahead and get Cam Miller, a 6th-round pick that we drafted. So now questions are going to be like, what if this guy play? What if this kid plays in the game? What if he balls out? Or what if he plays next season and he's able to go ahead and ball out and potentially be the next best thing? Would it happen? Probably not, because he is a 6th-round pick. We did get to see some glimpses of him. He shows little flashes, but obviously he's still a rookie. He needs way more work. But you still have now that question kind of floating out there, like what what could Cam Miller have become if we would have kept him, if we would have put him onto our active roster, right? So
yeah,
we'll see what happens with that.
Just want to hit on the Rivers thing. The Phillip Rivers thing, I mean, that was a calculated move on the Colts part. They purposely targeted him for a reason. And it's not because he was the only one that was really out there. He was familiar with that offensive system. And they were in a desperation, we need to win now. They thought he gave them that best option was to bring him in, because part of that coaching staff and the offensive scheme that they run on offense is what he played with when he was in San Diego. So he was familiar with that from the get-go. So there was no prep work, nothing. He just walked in there. He pretty much already knew the plays. He just had to get back into somewhat of a little bit of a more football shape. You know, I mean, I commend him. 44 years old. He's a grandfather, just became a grandfather, and he's out there starting NFL games. It's like, all right, that's pretty cool. I mean, I'll give him credit. It's the only time I didn't dislike Phillip Rivers is the fact that he was with the Colts, because his entire career with the Chargers, I hated every second of it. So.
Yeah, so I still don't like Phillip Rivers.
But that was a smart move on their part. I mean, in all honesty, you know, they were falling hard, man. At one point, think about it, they were the number 1 seed, and they're out of the playoffs now.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Whatever happened to Anthony Richardson with the Colts? Is he injured? Is that why? Because
he's injured again.
He's injured. Yeah.
Bro, how's he didn't even play all season, bro. How the hell is he already injured?
I have no idea, but
they lucked out with Danny Dimes just kind of working out in Indy, that situation, and up until the point that he got hurt. Once he got hurt, obviously their whole fucking season just went to the toilet, and then that's where you saw Phillip Rivers come in. But either way, Phillip Rivers, I don't know how much he was working out, but you know, obviously there's regular, like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and work out, go to the gym and stay active, to like, hey, I'm getting ready for football season type of conditioning. So you know, you're still pulling this guy off of the couch. You know, how much reps is he getting in? So all those questions for him, like, just to go ahead and come into that scenario, it is you gotta give him his flowers on that one. You know, it is pretty cool, but you know, still they could have went a different direction. Yeah, this could have went a different direction. Shout out to my guy G Fam with the $50 slap your mama super. Big congrats on your 1-year anniversary of putting that handsome mug on YouTube for the world to enjoy. Your Raider wisdom. One love, Raiders. Appreciate you, my guy. Salute to you, brother. One of my mods and members here at Just Raiders. Appreciate you. I don't think I'm handsome, bro, but you know, this ugly mug, for whatever reason, keeps appealing to people. So I appreciate that. Thank you, brother. Salute to you, man. But let me ask you guys, with the whole AOC thing. I mean, do you really think this kid could come in and pull off a win tomorrow? You know, Leo said, is he going to be carried out with the stretcher? You know, and it's surprising that some of the fan base is actually potentially scared of him fucking around and actually winning us the game. I don't think he has a shot. I think he's going to be so rusty. He's, you know, and the way that this offensive line has been operating, we're probably going to see 4+ sacks just when he comes in alone. I really do see that, and I'm not trying to be funny.
I think that's going to happen no matter who's back there, quarterback,
No,
not
but I think
necessarily him.
with just him, I think with just him alone, he's gonna get sacked about at least 4 times. Just the mobility is always been his detriment. He's not a mobile quarterback. He's worked on his footwork throughout the past seasons, but it's still a big Achilles heel for him. That mobility. He's not that type of guy. He's a pocket passer, just plain and simple. That's just who he is. So with this offensive line and the way that they're able to go ahead and hold the pocket, it's just not going to be a pretty thing. I don't think he's not going to have a lot of time, and just getting the whole timing thing, even if he's getting reps throughout the week, I don't think he's going to have much success. How do you guys feel? You guys shaking your heads?
Hell no, bro. He's not gonna do that, bro. Especially since like you even gotta look back to like the game when he beat Kansas City. Like, let's be honest, we won that game because of the defense. We didn't win because I think he had like 70 yards passing. And then the game last year in the Black Friday game where he played a really good game, but we had healthy options. Brock Bowers had a big game. Jacoby Myers was still here. Even a guy like Sincere McCormick, he was having a nice little run with us in the running game. So now he doesn't have any of that. Like, this roster is depleted. Sure, Kansas City's also like a team that have nothing to play for. They probably don't care about winning either. But like I said, we're just so depleted, and it's gonna be. I don't really see any quarterback in the league being able to propel this team to victory.
Right. Yeah. Jeff, what are your
I
thoughts?
think the only reason people are real nervous about him playing is the fact that he's like Leo said earlier, he's like Andy Reid's kryptonite. But I think that is just pure luck that those games went the way they did.
I agree.
It's not like he was out there doing his best Joe Montana or Brett Favre or Steve Young impersonation. It just got lucky. And the defense did have a lot to do with that too. But Rebel's a huge AOC guy. You guys gave me shit about being an AOC guy. Rebels got me beat by 1,000.
We're gonna get our fun AOC.
That is one thing I do know. That is true. He does have a quicker release, so he might not be staring down. He definitely won't be. He doesn't stare receivers down like Gino did.
No,
Gino is horrible at that.
And for his own sake, I hope that does come to fruition, because if not, he's gonna get lit up like a Christmas tree. It's just that's just how it's gonna go, So if he doesn't have a quick release, forget it. He's gonna get cooked. That's just plain and simple for sure. But our AOC advocate is in the building. Appreciate you, Rebel. Thanks for pulling up, my guy. But I want to go ahead and address the rumors that has been swirling this past week, and kind of it's been put out there by the media and other sources as well. Could this be Pete Carroll's last game for the Raiders? Are we going to see the last of Pete Carroll? And then, what do we go from here after? Black Monday literally is the day after tomorrow's game, right? And we'll find out either that day or that week what Pete's future is going to be. Is he still going to be with the organization, or is he going to be send off to full retirement, or at least retired from the Raiders at least? What are you guys' thoughts? Do you think Pete's time here in Las Vegas is over? Alex, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts with whole Pete Carroll? Do you think the writing's on the wall and it's time for Pete's gonna go? Or do you think he lives to see another year?
Nah, man, I hope this is the last game, man. I hope they fire him, man. I mean, like, it'd be a huge mistake if they kept him around for another season, man. You can just see the writing is on the wall. Like, it's just not a good situation for Pete, for like the current state of the franchise too. And even if the Raiders, like, they gave him another year, I don't think he finishes the season. So, I really hope this is the last game. What they do after, like, I don't know if they want to give him like some type of role in the franchise. As long as he has like really like no say so in like what we're gonna do when it comes to building the team. I mean, I'm fine with that. Or if he just wants to retire, enjoy his life. I mean, he's like 74 years old, so um, whatever they do after that, I don't really care. But yeah, I hope this is his last game.
Yeah, for sure. Jeff, what are your thoughts? Do you think this is Pete's last game, or do you think he lives to see another year with this team?
I know you and I discussed this on the New Year's Eve special that we did. I want him to be treated just like Jared Mayo was last season, where Jared Mayo was still walking out of the stadium and the fans in New England was still in the parking lot after the game, and he went walking by with his box out to his car to go home. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping as soon as the game's over, they're like, all right, Pete, you're gone. And security escorts him to his office. He cleans out his office. And while everybody's in J-Lot and having a good time celebrating, whatever, he comes walking out with his box of stuff from his office, and he goes on his merry way. I don't want it dragged out. Like, I don't want to be waiting a week before they finally decide, like, all right, hey, let's – I mean, there's rumors that they've already got supposedly a virtual interview set up with Kubiak this coming week. So if that's the case and that is legit, then the writing's on the wall that Pete's going on after Sunday. And if that is the case, don't wait till Monday. Don't wait till Tuesday. Just get it over with on Sunday as soon as the game's over, and let's move on. And by him being gone, I want everybody gone from the coaching staff. I don't want anybody to survive. I want it completely wiped out. I want no remnants of any past regimes. And yeah, Patrick Graham, I'm looking at you. That means you too. I want them all gone. I want a new coach to come in here and set the foundation with the way he wants to run things and with his full staff. So yes, I think Pete's gone after this week. And if he's not, fuck, we're screwed.
Yeah.
We really are.
And this came out the other day as well. Shout out to Raiders Resistance. If you don't follow Raiders Resistance, make sure you guys go ahead and give my guy a follow on Instagram and also X for everybody watching on X. Salute to you guys. Good morning. This came out from Jeremy Fowler. Raiders have done some preliminary research for their next head coach. So according to Jeremy Fowler, the Raiders have conducted some preliminary research into a potential head coach lineup for interviews for interview candidates starting within the next couple of weeks, because literally season is over on Sunday for us, and then the offseason begins officially Monday. After that, we can go ahead and start interviewing candidates if we actually move on from Pete Carroll, right? We've done that. This is again another year of us potentially going through a whole assortment of head coach candidates and interviews. So we're back to kind of square one in a sense. So I think the writing is kind of on the wall. A lot of this stuff has been popping up now. Obviously we don't know the source of this came from, where Jeremy Fowler got his source, but I mean, if it's putting out there may be some slight credibility to this story. If that's true, then we will see Pete Carroll coach his final game tomorrow. And I think at this point, Raider Nation is ready to go ahead and move on from Pete Carroll. A lot of the consensus really seems on that. I haven't really seen anything out there, especially online or on any of the shows that I've done with Jeff, or Jeff shows, that people want Pete Carroll for another year. And we're going to go ahead into the head coaches kind of, but I wanted to go ahead and kind of put out there. Also, Pete has also kind of indicated as well that he's not quite confident whether he's going to be around next year or not. So you also have that factor as well. So we might see Pete Carroll coach his last game with the Silver and Black tomorrow. But just like Jeff said, PG, does he go? There's also been reports out there that he's also going to be coaching his last game with the Silver and Black. He might move on. He was on a 1-year contract with us. That contract expires after Sunday, barring we don't make it to the playoffs, which we definitely will not. So it will be PG's last official game contractually. Now, whether does he stay or does he go, that is a question. I think this is the last time we see Patrick Graham with the Raiders. He's been here through now the third regime for him because he came in originally with four. Is it 4 or 3?
He's been here for this is his 4th year with us. He's been through.
But
Think about it.
Is it the third regime because McDaniels, right?
All right, yeah.
Technically, McDaniels, AP, and now Carroll.
Yeah, you're right. So it is 3. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so 3 regimes. It might be 4 years, but it's 3 regimes.
3's enough. See you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
So originally comes in with McDaniels on that regime that he was brought in by him, and then he stayed during that AP very short tenure, and now with Pete Carroll, we might see the last of Patrick Graham. We know that his aspirations is to go ahead and eventually find a head coaching gig, but we don't truly know. But I think the decision will really be made if Pete Carroll stays or goes. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on Patrick Graham being part of this organization for another year? I'll start with you, Alex.
Yeah, man, I think it's the perfect time to move on from him. I mean, honestly, I was okay with us moving on from him a year ago. I honestly thought that's what they're going to do. And it honestly seems like that's what they wanted to do. It actually, there's actually a report that came out like maybe a month ago or 2 months ago. I don't remember. But Robert Saleh was their guy. Like they wanted to sign him as a defensive coordinator. And the plan was after year 2 or year 3, after Pete Carroll, was going to, basically, they're going to have Robert Saleh be the head coach. That was obviously their top target. And I think once they saw like they couldn't get him or like any other defensive coordinator that they wanted, I think Pete Carroll just settled with Patrick Graham. And, we're in the situation now where, it makes all the sense of the world to just, move on from him, just get a whole new coaching staff, start fresh. I mean, Patrick Graham, I think he's a solid defensive coordinator. He wasn't great, wasn't terrible with us either. But like I said, I think it's just like the perfect time to just move on, start fresh.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Jeff? What are your thoughts with Patrick? Does he stay? Does he go?
I was fine with him going last year, just like Alex. I looked at it this way. I don't know why they kept him in the first place. I'm surprised Pete Carroll didn't bring someone else in, that he'd be more familiar with. But yeah, it's time to move on, man. I'm sorry. Nobody gets a free pass anymore in this organization. If you're here with this current regime and that coach is gone, then you're going too. Plain and simple. How many more chances are we going to give him to stick around with another coaching staff? Nope, I'm good. See ya.
Yeah.
Adios.
Yeah. For sure. I think so too. Go ahead.
And it's sad, though, because I like Philbin when he took over the offensive line last year. If I had to stick with just one, if they said you can keep one coach, who would it be? It probably would be him, as long as we can get him somewhat in control of the offensive line. Because you saw how much the offensive line changed last year when he took it over versus what it was like earlier in the season. And then how bad it regressed this year when we put Pete Carroll's kid in charge of it. And it's just been a good goddamn shit show from day one. So, yeah. Other than that, I don't want anybody left. Everybody's gone.
Yeah. Real quick, shout out to Steven Conway with the $2 super. Appreciate you, my guy. Salute, brother. I think if Pete departs, you got to gut this thing completely. You got to literally burn this thing down to the foundation. That means everybody would have to go. That includes guys like Robbie Leonard, guys that show potential promise on moving up to the next level and having some real talent. The tight ends coach, I forgot his name. That was another guy that I had also that's been talked about of eventually, moving up the ranks as well. So I guess you would have to do that and let whoever's going to be the next head coach build their staff the way they want it and have no interference from this front office. It's so important. That's what a lot of these, competitive teams and successful teams do. The coaching staff really are the ones doing the hiring. Once they get put on as a head coach, they're the ones really building their staff. They're the ones really finding guys that share the vision. And I keep saying this constantly, and I will say it until we start fucking winning again. The vision has to be aligned. You can tell this year the vision was not aligned. There was at some point Spy Tick and Pete Carroll did not see eye to eye, right?
No.
And we could go back to free agency.
It
That
was a definite disconnect.
Yeah, the draft was even more evident, and throughout that offseason last year, just the way that we went through free agency and not making moves that would help our team, and picking up a lot of guys that normally would not start around anywhere else around the league. It raised a lot of eyebrows, and we got a lot of Pete's guys. Guys that Pete was familiar with that not necessarily had or was not at the same level anymore, or maybe did not have the same amount of talent as other guys that were floating out there. Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If the new head coach comes in and he respects a coach that was here in this past regime and he wants to bring him back, like say a Philbin or a Leonard, I wouldn't be totally opposed to that, but I want them gone initially. And if that coach has enough respect for them and thinks that they can do the job that this new head coach is looking for, I might be all right with that, but not like Patrick Graham. He's skated by enough. I'm done with him.
Yeah.
Done.
For sure. So I hope, I wish all the best for Pete. And I hope that whatever way it comes out that he's not here with the organization, I hope it doesn't give us a black eye. I don't think we come out of this situation unscathed. And
the only way you do is if you come to a common agreement with him and you give him the chance to basically come to the podium and say, I'm retiring, so that we save face from not firing another head coach. He saves some dignity and doesn't come off as I just got fired, so there's that agreement to part ways between the two, but on a mutual respect. And again, just out of respect to him and what he's done in his past, granted, he didn't have a good year with us. Do it that way. I'm fine with that. If he comes out and they wink wink, he's retiring. Okay, all right. Well, we kind of know what you're doing, but all right, you save face, and we don't look like the jackasses that we just fired another goddamn head coach again. So that's how I think he should go out.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's got to be done on Sunday,
right? Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that'd be like, at least from a PR standpoint, that will look better for the franchise and everything. If he retired, obviously we know if he did, he really got fired. But I wouldn't mind that either if that's what they went ahead and did.
Yeah, for sure. But really quick, again, appreciate you guys pulling up and rocking with us on this Saturday morning. Again, if you guys haven't done so, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button on all the channels here. My guy 401 Raider Jeff over here to my left, and then Raider Alex to my right. Make sure you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button on their channels for fire content. You just put out a great video the other day, sir. Alex, it was fire, brother. So make sure you guys go ahead and tap into their content for sure. I'm gonna go ahead and segue to my next segment here, and it's a little fun segment that I like to call "Hate It or Love It," and we're gonna go ahead and do "Hate It or Love It" on the head coaching candidate dating game edition. Let me go ahead. I can't air the music because I'm gonna get copyrighted, but I'm gonna Okay. That was my poor attempt to do the dating game song.
You did pretty good.
I didn't want to get copyrighted, so I'm like, I'm just gonna do it. I think it's more funny that way. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do a little game, and then obviously, everybody who's watching as well, please participate and let us know on the comments who would you guys like to go ahead and see as a potential next head coach of our Las Vegas Raiders. I'm putting up my guys up on the background right now. But let's go ahead and do this thing. I'll start off with this guy first. Joe Brady, current offensive coordinator of the Bills. Do you guys hate him or love him for a head coaching candidate? Jeff, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts?
I like it, but not as much as some others.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say love because I'm not.
So you hate it?
I don't want to say hate it though. All right, I'll go with love.
Okay, love it. All right, cool. Alex, what about you? Would it hate or love it? Joe Brady.
I'd say I love it. I don't think he's my number one guy, but he's probably like a top 3 coach. In general, like I'm kind of like in the preference of like an offensive minded head coach. Ideally, like an offensive play caller, so he kind of fits all the, checks off all those boxes. A young coach, and honestly, like if we ended up getting him, I think it'd be a very interesting hire.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. I would definitely wouldn't mind Joe Brady. I definitely wouldn't mind Joe Brady being here and putting a team together, especially with his expertise. He's not my number one, but I am definitely not hating this move if they decide to go ahead and for one, bring him in for an interview period. 2, if they decide to go ahead and hire him on as head coach, I am not hating it. I'll love it for sure. But he's not my number one. He's not my number one. But this guy, I love it. He is my number one in my opinion. Mike LaFleur, the offensive coordinator for the Rams. What do you guys do? You guys hate this or love this? Alex, I'll go back to you. Hate or love it, Mike LaFleur.
Another guy that I would definitely consider as well. He's not my number one choice, but he does come from that McVay tree and everything. So the only thing that kind of worries me is like, McVay's probably the guy that's calling the plays. So that's the only thing that worries me a little bit. But I definitely would be down for something like this as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What about you, Jeff?
Still not my top choice either, but I gotta go with love it.
Love it. Okay, cool. All right. Let me move on to this guy. Still sticking with the Rams. Chris Shula, hate it or love it. He's the defensive coordinator for the Rams. So defensive minded coach this time. Would you guys love this move or you guys hate this move? I'll go back with you, Jeff.
Hate it.
You hate it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you hate this move?
There's only one defensive minded head coach that I would want, and it's not him.
Okay. What about you, Alex? Hate it or love it?
I wouldn't say I hate it, but I like I said, my preference is an offensive minded coach. If we were going to go like a defensive minded coach, I kind of prefer the Chargers defensive coordinator. But I'll have to go hate it then.
Okay, hate it. All right, got it. Cool. And now I'm gonna go on. For me, I love it. Some of these guys, trust me, there's a couple of guys on here that I'm not high on, but with him he comes from the Shula family. Another McVay, he comes from the McVay tree. So it's for me, it's still a plus, it's still a win. Not my number one guy. I'd rather go offensive minded personally, but hey, if they decide to go with Chris Shula, I am not hating that move whatsoever. I'm going to go on to this guy, and he's starting to gain a lot of steam around the fan base and then also around the league. Glenn Kubiak, the current offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. he's been around. He's done multiple stints previously before he was with the Saints. What do you guys think? Do you guys hate this? Would you guys hate this move? Would you guys love this move? Uh, Jeff, I'll go back to you.
I
Hate it
love
or
it.
love it?
He's my number one.
He's your number one.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's the one that I've been kind of hoping if we're gonna get one, I'm hoping it's him.
Uh-huh. Why do you hope that is him?
Just his past history and what he's done with Seattle this year too. I mean, you know, you bring in what's his face,
Darnold.
Donald, and look what he's able to do with him. Nobody was expecting that. You know, and you still have people saying we should have got Donald. I'm sorry, but there ain't no quarterback, past, present, or future that could have done anything with this team. So if you honestly think that Donald would have come here with this roster or in our offensive line and done what he did in Seattle, you're freaking crazy. There's no way. So I attribute what Donald's done because of that guy right there and how that team is look, they're playing tonight for the potential to win their division, up their seed standing for the NFC. So I think what he's done is amazing compared to where they were last year. Hell yeah. That's the guy I want. That's my number one.
There you go. What about you, Alex? Do you hate it? Love it? Clint Kubiak to the Raiders.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I think for almost everybody's the top head coaching candidate of this whole cycle. So the only thing is, like, is he gonna choose us? I don't know about that. I honestly feel like maybe like he might prefer other destinations, like the New York Giants, for example. But yeah, I mean, if the Raiders somehow landed him, I would, I'd definitely be excited. Yeah, he's not quite like a Ben Johnson type of candidate that we saw last year, but he's a really solid candidate.
Yeah.
See, and that was fine. I didn't want Ben Johnson, to be honest with you. I wasn't on board with him.
Yeah.
But again, if we finish the season with the number one pick, that right there is enticing enough.
Yeah,
that hopefully,
helps.
yeah, definitely. Because now you're basically telling that guy that's a potential head coach, hey, look, we got the number one pick. You and our GM are going to be able to set this team going forward. You get to pick the guy that you want to work with, whether you be a QB or not. You get to make that choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. For me, I love it, and the reason why I say I love it. He's not my first choice, but he is accomplished. He's been around the league. He has turned around teams, and just like Jeff said, I mean, he's improved. Like the whole thing with Darnold. That is a lot of Clint Kubiak. So I wouldn't mind him being here. Would he necessarily come here? That is the question. Even with the number one pick, we just don't know. There's also been reports that he might stay in Seattle. He might not even come out to seek a head coaching gig this offseason. So that also is into play, but his name is definitely being floated around the league currently as a potential candidate for the Raiders. I'm going to move on to this next guy. You guys, I think everybody's very familiar with this guy. Cliff Kingsbury has also recently just circled in the news as being a potential candidate for the Raiders. We visited kind of this issue last year or the year or 2 years ago with the whole, or I think it was last year, with the whole offensive coordinator position and that falling through with the whole, not seeking to go ahead and get a top quarterback prospect. He verbally said yes, he was going to come over to Las Vegas, and then at last minute, at the end of the day, he decided to go ahead and pull out and go to the Commanders. But now again, his name is being thrown out there as being a potential candidate for a head coach. Now, this time, a head coaching gig with the Raiders. I'm going to say I hate it. I don't like this move. The way that he kind of left us, that year where we were in negotiations with them. That kind of goes to show what the true colors lie here. Like, would he resign after a year if things don't go his way? is he going to be out, and are we going to go ahead and find ourselves in a predicament similar to this, but not by our own accord, by his doing? On top of that, he just got to Washington, and he's going to go out and seek another head coaching position. I don't know how his longevity with the team hasn't been too great. So that to me worries me a little bit. I know he's done good things with JD5, but him being out this season, they really haven't made a whole splash. So I don't know. I'm very on the fence. I say I hate it. Uh, Alex, what about you? Do you like this? Do you love this move, or do you hate it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I love it, but I do like it. I mean, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I feel like this is kind of more of like a realistic option for us. Like I just feel like the only thing with Kingsbury though is like I don't know if Fernando Mendoza is like the ideal quarterback prospect he may be looking for. But like when it comes to a coach, I mean, he has former head coaching experience. I think that has some value, and ultimately, like he has a good track record of like developing quarterbacks. I mean, he's worked with Patrick Mahomes, he's worked with Caleb Williams. Um, I mean, Kyler Murray at one point he got him playing at a very high level, but I just feel like Kyler Murray is just not really, there's that stigma on him that he's like always playing Call of Duty and like, he's not really like a professional when it comes to like the ins and outs of like, studying tape and things like that. So, I honestly would not mind if we selected Kingsbury. Now, I don't know if he's going to choose us either. I feel like he's probably going to be selective if he's going to move on from being the offensive coordinator for Jaden Daniels. But I'd be down for it, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about you, Jeff?
Not me.
Hate it or love it?
I hold grudges sometimes. It's just I can't with him.
Yeah.
If we're still struggling to find a coach and he's still out there or still willing, he's like my last resort. Is how I look at it. That's my ultimate feeling on that.
Yeah, and the whole thing, whether he again, it's just the whole longevity. The way he conducts business is a red flag. Because like I said, what if things don't pan out his year one for him? And I'm not talking about the win factor. I'm talking about assembling his team. Getting his choices in the draft. Is he going to be like, fuck this, I'm out?
Mm-hmm.
They could potentially pan out that way. Head coaches resign. There's nothing really tying him on to like, hey, you got to be the head coach. He can always say, you know what, fuck you. Don't pay me. That's fine. I'm out. So that to me, that's a big concern because then we have to do this process all over again. So whoever the next head coach is going to be, I would hope for them to be here 3 to 5 years to go ahead and see what they can really, really put together, right? And that's really a fair timeline on assessing a head coach, especially a young one, right? You want to go ahead and give them time, and unfortunately with Pete, there is no time left. He's on win now mode, and unfortunately, with this team and the way that the personnel that we have, the talent that we have, you need to build it. That's just the way it goes. You need to build it. He just didn't go into a situation where he was just like a couple pieces away from like having like this stellar team. It's just we had issues up and down, and I think he kind of didn't fully assess it correctly. And this is the way it kind of turned out. But again, there's a silver lining to this. We're literally on the brink of getting the number one pick. So, I guess you can give Pete his flowers for that one. I'm gonna go to the final guy, Robert Saleh. Do you hate it or love it? Candidate for a head coach for the Raiders. Jeff, what are your thoughts? Hate it or love it?
He's the only defensive-minded head coach that I would like to see us potentially have a shot at getting. So I'm in the love it category on this one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about you, Alex? Do you hate it? Do you hate it or do you love it for Robert Saleh?
I'm on the hated train, man. I feel like he has like a lot of the Pete Carroll like defensive philosophies. Comes from that cover 3 system. I just don't want to go back that route. I feel like if the only guys I'm kind of looking at when it comes to defensive minded coaches, I like what the Chargers defense has been doing. The defensive coordinator there. Also, too, maybe I'd kick the tires on Brian Flores if he'd be like towards the end of my list when it comes to the options, but yeah, I don't love this move.
Yeah. I'm going to go with hated as well. I'm not very keen on having Robert Saleh as our head coach. I definitely wouldn't mind him as a defensive coordinator, but to have him come in as a head coach, having his stint at, with the Jets, I'm a little bit cautious about that, and I know their organization isn't the greatest either, and we have our problems of our own. So how is that really going to translate over to this organization, right? So that's my worry. So I wouldn't be on this move. I wouldn't completely hate it if he came on as a head coach. But at the same time, he is definitely not on my number 1, number 2, or number 3 choice as a potential candidate for head coach. So that's my take on Robert Saleh. But hey, that was Hater Love It, the dating game edition.
That was good. I like that.
Obviously, there's more candidates out there. Like Alex said, have Brian Flores. There's some other guys that also names have been floated around. I don't know. I know that report from Fowler says about like 30 candidates or whatnot. I don't think it's going to be to that extent. Like I think we get like a fraction of that, maybe like 15, maybe under the 20 mark of candidates. That's still a lot of people to come in and interview for a head coaching gig. But I don't think it's going to be 30. I think we probably in our list there are probably 30 names, but how many people are realistically going to come in and actually interview and actually be interested in this position? This is my thing, and I want to go ahead and just kind of harp on this. Whoever's going to be the next, if we move on from Pete and we're going to be looking for a new head coach, for one, you already have the factor of who's going to want to go ahead and come in and head coach here with this type of organization that turns over constantly on the head coaches. If the production is not there, if the results are not there, we tend to go ahead and really part ways from our coaching staff. That's number 1. Number 2 is because of that stigma, it's going to cost us an arm and it's going to cost Mark. It's not going to cost the team. It's going to cost Mark an arm and a leg to go ahead and bring in the next head coach, and that's literally that's partly what's going to take. If we're able to go ahead and secure that number 1 pick, that just sweetens the pot. But the next head coach guy, I think be prepared of having this big number come out of how much they're going to go ahead and get paid on that contract.
I just want to turn the tables to you two for a second, because I've heard this one already too. What do you guys think of this one about Cignetti? I'm not for it. I just let you know.
I'll let Alex answer that one. I'm after that one.
Yeah, it's intriguing just because like the success he's been having with Indiana, like he has a track record of turning programs around, and obviously too, if we have the number 1 pick, obviously like reuniting Cignetti with Fernando Mendoza is it's interesting to say the least. They would have to buy him out of his contract. I think he has like $100 million contract with Indiana. I'm not sure what the buyout would look out. I assume maybe like he probably has like a buyout for like 20-25 million. Which I mean, Mark Davis has shown like he's willing to like spend money. I mean, he hasn't been great at spending money, right? He's spending money on all these guys, and then they like gone after one season. Just the only thing that just concerns me a little bit is like he seems like, for one, he's more of the CEO type of head coach. He's not an offensive or defensive play caller. And I mean, I don't know if his style is going to translate to the NFL. He seems like a real hard ass. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Nick Saban. So I feel like if he stays in college, he might be the next Saban of this generation for college football.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. Like, I just don't know if his style would translate. But we'll just have to. I don't know, man. I for one, I don't think it's realistic, and I probably wouldn't go that route.
Yeah. We touched shout out to G fam. He actually gave us this question on New Year's Eve, and he asked us, if we get the number one pick, thoughts about bringing over Signetti as a head coach to kind of have continue that continuity with Mendoza. My thing is this: I would not be for that move. For one, you're not most likely we're going to end up getting a rookie head coach, right?
Yeah.
The difference is that
Probably.
Signetti does not have experience really in the
No.
NFL level as a head coach, right? I don't know. I
I
got to
don't
look
think
at
he's
his
got
resume.
any
I don't know.
history in the NFL.
I don't think he got. I haven't looked at his
No,
resume, so
yeah.
I wouldn't know. I can't speak to it like intelligently and say like, oh, he has some experience. I don't know, but like if I had to compare like a Shula or like Lafleur, let's say Robert Sala, right? Those guys have experience. At different levels, right? I mean, you had Robert Sala, who was already had a head coaching stint
Yeah,
for the
Randy.
Jets, right? Michael Floor, head coach. He's been an offensive coordinator. Shula has been a coordinator, a defensive coordinator. So these guys already had time in the NFL. They know the pace of the NFL. They already have experience at a high level, not at the head coaching level. I feel that they have a leg up over a guy like Signetti if he were to go ahead and come into the league. Yes, they both would be rookies, but these guys already been around the league. These guys already have coached in the NFL. They know how guys in the NFL operate. It's different. It's completely different coaching kids who are in college, who are just starting out, to men, grown ass men who've been around the
Yeah.
league for years. Years.
And that's the big thing too. I just don't think we can take a gamble. We got to do this right. If we're going to pick a head coach, we have to do our due diligence. We can't go out on a limb and grab a kid, a coach from the college ranks that's never had any type of NFL experience. I don't care who it is. I just think that if we're going to do it this time, we got to do it right, and we got to give this to whoever it is. You got to give them more than a year or two to try and work something too. That's the other thing, which means I'm talking to you as the fans. You need to cut some slack with whatever we do with the next head coach, because you got to give them time. I mean, for the love of God, we're just cutting ties so fast. I know the past few that we've cut or shit canned just didn't work out for other reasons. I get that. These are all guys that had some experience in the NFL already, but we just got to give somebody's got to, we got to suck it up if we have a 1-16 season next season with a head coach. Don't start talking about firing them right away. There's been coaches out there that start with a shitty record their first year, but next thing you know, 2 years later, Jimmy Johnson's a perfect example of it. Dan Campbell, a horrible first season with them, and now look at them. Granted, he lost both his coordinators, that hurt, but still.
Yeah, I mean they're still decent. They're still
Don't
decent.
expect to go from a 2-win season to, oh shit, we're in the Super Bowl next year. That ain't gonna happen. Those type of seasons just don't happen. If it does, then God was on everybody's side that year. So
Yeah. I mean
it was a rough, man.
The way and there's teams that has had that happen where they've made playoffs, right? But these are teams like Liam Cohen goes into Jacksonville, they're going to the playoffs. But these guys were they literally a couple pieces away from like getting to that point. They've had T-Law for a little while, and they've already been to the playoffs before, right? The year, I think like 2 years prior. So they were just a couple pieces away from like really getting their shit together and moving on to the next phase. Another example is Sean Payton, right? Sean Payton came into Denver, terrible first year, terrible. They're already fucking asking for his head at the gates, and then the next year, they became a completely significant better team. And I think that's when they made the first playoff appearance, right? And then now this year, look at where they're at. So you can see there's a progression. Like the progression is going like this. It's going on an upward trajectory, not just skyrocketing up. And that's the thing that we kind of have as a fan base. We kind of have to take that step back and be like, okay,
Oh yeah,
this is not going to happen overnight. We're going to have another bad year, but at least it's going to look better than what this year was. I don't
hopefully.
want to say we hit rock bottom because every time I say that, we've always been worse.
Yeah, rock bottom is a 0-win season. That's rock
Yeah.
bottom.
We're close.
Yeah.
We're 2-14.
Pretty damn close. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't want to say that, but I'm saying like next year, if we win 4 games, 5 games, that's an improvement on the season. The style of play is going to be indicative of that as well. The way that we play, if we play close games, we play tough games, and we just don't play sloppy, then you know that we're on the right trajectory. You know, in the fall.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm not going to say at the end of the season is, well, wait till next year. It can't get any worse than this, because I said that last year, and the Raiders held their bear. I held their bear for them, and they proceeded to win only 2 games versus 4. So,
yeah,
I'm not saying that this year. No way.
Yeah.
Well, it can't get any worse than this. We only won 4 games. Fuck you.
Oh my beer. Oh my beer.
You son of a bitch.
It's probably gonna be 2:15. Jesus Christ, that's fucking awful.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move on to this part. Probably, you know, we're already in that time. Everybody wants to talk about this draft talk. Let's go ahead and get into that. I'm gonna move into my next segment. Would you rather? And we're gonna go ahead and play this little game. Let me go ahead and pull up my thing here. And we're gonna play Would You Rather, and I'm gonna give you guys a scenario. And of course, obviously, everybody in our chat may, you know, go ahead and participate as well and let your voice be heard. But I'm gonna go ahead and put the scenario for you guys. Let me go ahead and bring down this. Okay. So if the Raiders have the number 1 pick in the 2026 NFL draft, would you draft at number 1 a QB? So it's probably going to be Mendoza, right? Or 2, would you trade down for more draft picks? What are you guys' thoughts about having that number 1 pick? This is a good problem to have, right? This is probably the best problem that we can have in the offseason, aside from not having a head coach. But having this scenario presented, what would you guys do? Let's go ahead and put our GM's hats on. Alex, I'll start with you because you put out the video the other day on Mendoza. So what would you do in this scenario if you had the number 1 pick?
Yeah. I'll say this, like, one thing is it really depends on what we're gonna do at the head coaching position. That really, like, that can change everything. Because, like, let's just say in a crazy scenario they keep Pete Carroll. If they keep Pete Carroll, I think you need to stay away from drafting a quarterback because, like I said, he's not going to see his 3rd year of his contract. So I don't want a situation where, you know, we're going to draft a quarterback and immediately his coach is going to get fired, and then, you know, go into his 2nd season, he's going to have a whole new system again. So that's the one thing I will say. Now, just kind of taking that out of the equation, you know, like you said, this is a good, like, question to have. This is why I wanted to have the number 1 pick, because now, like, the doors just really open up for you. You can either draft the quarterback 1 in Mendoza, or you can trade down. And if I had to choose right now, I do like the option of trading down, man, just because, like, I do like Mendoza. Don't get me wrong here, but like I don't know if I just feel like this quarterback class, at least at the quarterbacks, this draft class at the quarterback position, isn't as strong as other years. And you look at that 2027 draft class, to me, it's going to look a lot more loaded in quarterback talent. So, like, I honestly would not be opposed if we trade down, maybe, you know, get like a couple, maybe go into 2027 with multiple 1st-round picks, you know, 2 or 3 1st-round picks. And then you can maybe, like, go all in on, like, a potential franchise quarterback with more upside. And then, you know, this year in the offseason, we can kind of just concentrate on building the trenches, the offensive line, just kind of building the roster around as a whole. But, you know, at the same time, if they drafted Mendoza, I also wouldn't be mad at it either. But if I had to choose one right now, I like the option of trading down.
Okay. Jeff, I kind of know your answer, but
Yeah,
I
I
want you to
agree with
share
Alex
it.
100%. It all depends on what the head coaching situation is. If it's Pete Carroll, there's no way in hell I want him being involved with a rookie quarterback. Just like he said, if he's here for the full contract, he's here for 2 more years and then he's gone. And Pete's already admitted he's not here to develop players. He's here to win games. So what good is that going to do with this kid? Okay, now that means everything falls on your offensive coordinator. We don't even know who that is. So even if Pete stays, we still don't even know who we're going to have as an offensive coordinator. So there's that still needs to be figured out. Okay. If
Right.
Pete is here, I want number two. If we've got a different head coach, like we've got a Kubiak or we've got a LaFleur or we've got any one of those other guys that are offensive minded head coaches, and we addressed because you remember free agency's first. If we address the offensive line and free agency prior to the draft, that also will change things too. If we do that and we get guys in here, veterans that we know we can count on to be solid, to protect your investment. Because remember, this isn't just a draft pick. This is an investment for this team. Whatever we do with this first pick is an investment for this team going forward. So this is an integral part or a very important part of this organization going forward that could set us up for at least the next 10 to 12 years. Okay. So if you have the right people in place, the right players and free agency in place, then by all means, you go and get that quarterback. If the head coach and Spy Tech and the OC feels Mendoza is the guy, then you go and get him.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I'm fine with trading down too. And I would love it if it's the Jets because they've got a ton of draft picks that we can fleece them for. They move up to number one. They get what they want at number one. We move back to number three, and we get additional draft picks, not only in this year's draft, but next year's draft too. Again, setting your team up for future. You know, people got to stop thinking about what we're going to do in 2026. Now, this is what we're going to start doing in 2026 and going forward. So this draft is probably one of the more important drafts that we've had in freaking years, just because we've got so many different options in what we do. And again, the head coach and going forward is going to be the biggest first decision we have to make. So when the game ends on Sunday, those first few days following Sunday, that's going to set the path for this team for the next however many years if it's done right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my take on that.
Yeah. My thing is this. Yes, it starts with who's still going to be here for head coach. I think it's most likely probable Pete will not be here. I want to say it's like 80% chance. I could be fucking wrong, and they can say, well, we're gonna go ahead and roll with Pete another year, right? And then all that gets thrown out the window.
And you can throw everything right out the goddamn window and expect another 2-win season, folks.
Right. And then, and if that's the case, then we're probably going to be in the top 10 again next year. You might have that mentality, right? But my thing is this: it's just you just don't know where you're going to possibly land because what if we get 6 games, 7 games? Are we going to go? We're going to go ahead and fall to the middle of the pack. If you're at number one, if you have the number one pick, I say get your quarterback. We need a quarterback. We've been knowing this. It's time to go ahead and get the quarterback. And it's hard to say that if Pete's still here. I think it's a no-brainer if Pete's gone, and that's why I lean more to that. Would I be open to trading down? Yes, but my heart will still be like, let's go ahead and address that issue because we just don't know if we can ever get back to a top position to be able to draft a quarterback of like this type of caliber. It just depends on the next year, what teams are really needy for a quarterback. All that plays in an actual draft, right? We've said that also before with the draft class, right? Like, hey, 26 is going to be the year where we're going to see a better draft class, and that was not the case. Look at Drew Allar. We thought that he was going to be the next best thing, and he regressed this year. So that you don't know, certain guys are either going to continue on the upward trajectory or they're going to regress, and it could just be that we just don't. Nothing is for certain. So my thing is this: like, bet on do the sure bet and take the guy that's going to give you probably the best chance of building a future and build around that quarterback, right? Build around that person. I think it's Mendoza, but again, it just depends if Pete's here. I think if Pete's still here, man, it would be a hard swallow for me to like go ahead and trade down from that number one. It would. And you don't know what you can get for the Jets. Depending how desperate, that's also a gamble. Not necessarily would you get, you would get that next pick, but would you get how many picks can you really get from them? And that's a sales job, and that's something that literally Spytech has to go ahead and put on his sales tie for it and be able to go ahead and fleece the guys as much as they can. Nothing is for certain. So
yeah,
I don't know. My thing is this: if you have the number one, get your quarterback, build around him. I don't see Pete being here for another year, so that's why I say that more confidently. But if he's here, it might be that situation where we might have to trade down. As much as I hate doing that. That's probably why I'm still like, so hung up on it. You know? Yeah.
I mean, I think one thing to take into consideration though is like if Dante Moore goes back another year at Oregon, to me that makes that number one pick even more valuable now. Because to me, this draft class at the quarterback position, top heavy as hell. Like right now, everybody's Mendoza or Moore. If Dante Moore chooses to go back to Oregon, and now like it's reported that the New York Jets really like Fernando Mendoza, that might be the perfect time to get like a really good like haul for that number one pick. So just something to keep in mind.
And on that note, if Dante Moore on the flip side, if Dante Moore declares now trade, if Pete's here and trading down is an option and trading down with the Jets and being able to get Dante Moore, I'm good with that too. Like that, and you get extra comp picks and you build around that guy. Like I'm not mad at that,
Yeah.
So
what do the Jets have right now? They're at number 4 or number 5?
3.
Oh, they're at 3.
They're at 3.
Mm-hmm.
They're 3. Let me go ahead and pull that up. I'll pull that up right now.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
We'll take a look at the draft order. So this is the current draft order right now. We are currently still at number 1, Giants on number 2, and then the Jets at number 3. So I think with the strength of schedule, even if they fuck around and win their game on Sunday versus the Cowboys, do they go down to number 3? I think they do go down to number 3, right? And if the Jets lose,
they
swap. Yeah. They swap, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go. Yeah, I think
so if the Jets stay where they are at number 3, which is what we ultimately would want. Because don't forget, they got 2 first-round picks. They got the 3rd and the 18th right now.
Yeah, and those could be our picks.
And they got 2 first-rounders next year, one from Indy and one from Dallas. So they've got 3 first-rounders next year too.
Oh yeah, they have a lot of draft capital. Like honestly, if you could trade down to 3, and you could either get either one of those draft picks, either 18 or like a 2027 first. You can only move down 2 spots. You could still. There's a good chance you could get Dante Moore. Just the only thing you got to watch out for is if the Giants trade out of that pick. But still, I mean, that'd be a good option.
But every time I've done just for shits and giggles, just to go through the first 4 picks initially to see what kind of trade offers come up for the first pick. The Jets are always the first one that hits me up, and it's always like their 3rd pick, their 18th, their 34th, and I usually get at least 1 first rounder from 2027. This one here I just pulled up right now. They gave me the 3rd, the 18th, the 34th, and 2 first rounders. Dallas is in Indies next year.
Bro, that John Spytech would be. Man, he'd be the GM of the century if you could pull off something like that. Bro.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and the chances of that happen are probably not realistic. But You never know when
Yeah.
a team's that desperate for a quarterback,
That's
and they've
true.
already got a head coach, so they don't have to worry about who's going to be their head coach and everything. They
Right.
need that quarterback. So the Jets are desperate. And guess what? If we appeal to a desperate team and they want to
Yep.
move, then we got to do it. We're crazy not to.
Yeah.
And there's one thing we haven't even discussed, and I know that's been a latest rumor, and everybody that follows me knows my take on this. We haven't even talked about if Max gets traded for whatever reason, what the possibility
That's not
you
gonna
get for
happen.
them.
That's why I didn't put it up there.
I know. I was looking through
Yeah.
your banners. I'm like, I didn't see that one on there, but it's like,
I know.
Yeah.
again,
They did
that's
that.
still a possibility. A team may want him, and you got to listen. If you don't listen, then you're not doing your job. Plain and simple.
That happens every year. We happen multiple times every year now.
Yep.
Especially the way that we've been playing. So it's always gonna bound to happen. I think the Cowboys were the real ones that have done it. I don't know if other teams have done it, but really from what we know, Cowboys are the ones that picked up the phone this year and made an offer, right? And
And not for
Yeah.
nothing, they traded away
we listened, I guess.
they
but we're
traded
like, no.
away their icon on defense in Micah Parsons. And what did their defense do? Their defense got better
But
because they
also Micah
finally
wanted
stopped the
out
run.
as well. Micah
Yeah,
wanted
I get
out
that part too.
of Dallas
But
too.
who knows what Max's feeling is right now? I mean, is he being honest? Is he, but besides that point, you look at, yeah, I saw that blasphemy. Whatever, G fam. You look at what Dallas did, with what they traded away and what they got in return. They finally could stop the run now. Their defense has stepped up, so that made a big difference for them. I mean, let's face it, that's our biggest weakness is stopping the run too. So
Yeah, but
and no Adam Butler this weekend either. He's out.
my thing is this is like I know people want to go ahead and think like, okay, we can try to fill in all of our key positions in one draft and one free agency. It's just not going to happen that way. It's going to take time. So
Yeah,
why
sure.
trade away your best player? That's my thing. And I know, and I'm pretty confident that he does not want out of the Raiders. Like, yes, he's upset. He's a competitor. Yeah, he doesn't want to get
Unfortunately, it's
shelved.
not his choice whether he wants out.
I
or
know,
not.
I know, but he doesn't necessarily want to get shelved. And I think that's
Yeah.
what the tantrum was. I think he was just pissed that he got shelved, and he was like, "I'm still good at play. I want to play the last game or the last couple of games." And they're like, "No, we're not going to go ahead and do that, especially if we're going to go ahead and do what we were expected to do this coming off season. You have to sit out. Go ahead and heal yourself up. Do whatever he needs surgery. So that's another thing there. So I think that's where the whole thing was. I don't think it's necessarily odd. We don't know how happy he is. He's always come out and said, "I want to be a Raider. I want to be here. I don't want to go anywhere else." My thing is this: if we trade down, I mean, if you're getting the number 3 and the number 18, I think that's probably going to be the ask from the Jets if you want to get the number 1 pick, if they're that desperate. And mind you, we still have the second round pick. We have the first pick of every round.
Yeah.
And that's like having, especially in that second round, it's like having another first round pick. So you have that as well. But also a lot of the key positions that we need to go ahead and fill is going to have to also be done through free agency. We just have to be more aggressive this free agency and more smarter on the players that we go after. I don't think it can be so much bias. I think it has to be skill level and what they're actually able to go ahead and contribute on a scheme on an actual for the actual team. Like this past offseason, the nickel position was always wide open. Could have been filled with. There was a couple guys floating out there. It never was addressed. We ran it with Darnay Holmes, and we thought Darnay was going to be the guy that was going to be that guy that can go ahead and handle that nickel position. A lot of us knew that wasn't going to be the case, but Pete and staff knew better, and then this is the result. And a lot of times,
Alex is right too. Alec in the chat. Josh Jacobs said the same thing and got traded. It is what it is.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw in the morning though, like there's that report that came out that supposedly the Raiders are now like they're open to trading Max Crosby.
Yeah, that's what
You guys
that's
saw
what
that,
he
right?
was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what I was saying.
So
So
I mean, I
I
think
don't.
you gotta listen to every offer, kind of like Jeff
Oh
was
hell
saying,
yeah.
man. Because you gotta, especially if the team is like willing to overpay, like because it seems like the going rate for the pass rushers is like 2 first-round picks, give or take. If a team is willing to offer you like 3 first-round picks, man, I mean, I think you have to you have to really consider it, man. Just because like I feel like the Raiders are clearly in a rebuilding stage. Like I don't know if it makes sense having, it hurts to say, but like, I don't think we're in like a good position to like be in win now mode anytime soon. And Max Crosby, he's getting a little bit up there in age. Like he's still in his prime, but like him as a player, he's got to look at it too. Like it might be like a Charles Woodson situation, right? Like he was here for a long time. He had to leave to get the ring, and who knows, maybe he could come back or something like that. But I think it's something that you know when you're a 2-14 football team, very likely could be 2-15 with the number one overall pick. Everything has to be on the table for you. In my opinion.
Dixon.
That's
Thank you,
everybody.
Alex. You know why? Because you're the first other content creator that does shows like this that has actually been in agreement with me. Unlike the guy between us and the other guys that we do our show with on Wednesday night. It's like, oh, Black, you can't talk
Calm
like that about Matt.
down, calm down. Look,
Here's the thing.
I've said
Okay.
that if the Raiders are for one, if Max says I want out, cool, trade him. If it's something a big move where it's really going to go ahead and change and really help our team, and we're talking about we better get something fucking big for him. If not, I'm be fucking talking some mad shit for the next like fucking 5 years, right?
Yeah.
That's for me that the equivalent, because I feel that you need to ride with your guy that's been through it and can see the fruits that it's finally get what they've always wanted, right? And Max has been there thick and thin. Motherfuckers has been diehard at multiple times. He could have been like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and hit free agency. I'm gonna go ahead and move on. He hasn't. He stayed where he's at, and he's ride with us. He said he wants to be a Raider. I'm all for that. But at the if there's a scenario where, hey, this can definitely help out your team, okay, let's see what is the offer, right? Um,
Remember,
as much as I hate to
nobody's
say
bigger
it,
than the Shield. Remember that.
Yeah.
still,
And the biggest thing to me is
certain
like
things.
if
The
yeah.
player wise is good enough for him to stick around. But like I said, I'm open to it. It just the price has to be right. Go ahead, Alex. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Well, I feel like the one thing with Max though is like they got to make the decision now though, because like I don't know, like because especially if you trade him like in 2 years, like his value is going to go down. Like this
Well, that's
may
what
be the one.
Fam said. He says, wait till he hits his third year of the new contract. At that point, don't even bother because you ain't gonna get shit
Yeah.
for him. We already blew it last year. We should have done it before the draft last year, is when we should have done it. Because his value was probably at an all-time high. Now it's going down and down because he just played a full season, sat him the last 2 games because of technically an injury, but I guess now it's a bigger issue. Who knows? So now his value is going to start dropping from here going forward. So whatever we get now is going to be the pinnacle of what we're ever going to get for him. So and I think a lot of the reason why people don't want to even in barely listen to the whole Max thing is everybody's still stuck in the past with how we handled the picks and what we got for the Khalil Mack trade.
Bro,
All right. And if everybody keeps
we live
thinking
in
that
the past. What are
mindset
you
that,
talking
well,
about?
we don't have good success when we meet with draft picks and this, you got to stop with that, man. Said it last night on the show. Fans are going to stop with that and stop being married to players like they're married to Max.
Bro, we live in the past. What are you talking about? This fan base is.
That's all we have is the past. We got nothing positive in the present or the future right now.
If I go out and say, hey, what are your thoughts about bringing Derek Carr back? You'll trust me. You'll have guys out there like, hey, let's bring Derek Carr back.
Yeah, they want Carr.
What way?
They're already out there saying it.
What way? Oh yeah, exactly. So
it's already out there.
You have people that are still bring up the Jamarcus Russell pick, right? And you have trepidation there. So we live in the past.
That's why
we're
that's
a fan
why
base of the past.
we can't draft a quarterback in the first round. Look at Jamarcus Russell when we drafted him. That was 20 years ago. You give me a break? Seriously?
Yeah.
So what? You're never going to take a chance ever again on another player? Get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm of the thought process that we need to be drafting a quarterback in the first round every 4 years, like give or take.
We should be drafting a quarterback every year just for pure competition in the roster, which is what that's the big disjustice or injustice, whatever you want to pronounce it, with Derek Carr. We never brought competition in against him. The best we ever did was what? Walter and Mariota. Cooper. Still, we did nothing to light a fire under his ass to make him excel. So he never had to set that bar any higher than right here, because he knew if he just played like this, he would beat out anybody that we brought in, because we brought in a bunch of scrubs behind him, and we never brought in like a higher caliber type quarterback that could push him to be better. Mm-hmm. So people always say, well, he was mediocre. Well, that's our own fault. Mm-hmm. You know?
I'm gonna throw a quick curveball to you guys. All right. So let's say we do your scenario, right? We trade down, we get more draft capital, we get the 3rd and the 18th. Just to say we just got that, right? Who would you guys get at number 3 and 18? And mind you, we still have the number 1 in the second round. So who would you guys go after? If anybody you have in mind that you would go after at number 3?
At number 3, well, like you said, I mean, if Dante Moore is there, I definitely consider that. I wouldn't mind that. At 18, I think there's some good offensive linemen you can target. I don't the one offensive lineman from Utah, I forget his name. I also like the one from Alabama. I think it's Caden Proctor. Guys that are
from Utah, it's Fano.
Yeah. Fano. There's him. Obviously, there's the Miami right tackle. I always butcher his name, so I don't even try to say. I assume he'll be like a top 15 pick, but I think you go that type of route. Get Dante Moore at the 3rd overall pick, and then get a tackle at 18. I'd be down for something like that.
Yeah. What about you, Jeff? Who would you get at 3 and 18 and 33?
People aren't going to like my response. If he's there, if either one of these two guys are there, whether it be Reese or Ruben Bain, if neither one of them are there, I'm going defense. If neither one of them are there, I'm going Caleb Downs. Sorry. And then with the second pick in the first round, number 18, I'm going the best offensive lineman available. And if we don't get Linderbaum, I'm definitely grabbing the top center at some point in this draft. Whoever the top center is, if he's there in the second round, 3rd round, wherever we can get him without overreaching, I'm taking him. I'm definitely taking him.
So are you out on Jackson Powers Johnson at center then, or?
No, I don't think. I think I like him better at guard.
A guard?
Yep. Okay. Yep. I want somebody that's played center their entire college career or their entire pro career if we bring them over in free agency, which is why I'm saying throw as many bags as it takes. I don't give a shit. If we can do what we can to get Linderbaum over here, you've already solved pretty much the big issue with the offensive line is getting a bona fide center to fill that spot, and he's your field general for your offensive line and a guy that's proven himself with Baltimore. You get him, things already change automatically for that offensive line because now you got him, JPJ. If Caleb Rogers steps up and becomes a true starter next season, Colton Miller on the left side, Glaze gets out of his funk and gets his shit together for next year, you got something. You've already improved that offensive line, and they've become an average offensive line. And just think what Genty could do with an average offensive line versus a shit bum offensive line like he had this year. And look what he did with those guys. He's still this close to hitting 1,000 yards with that horrible offensive line plus the coaching. Yeah. So imagine what he would do.
Yeah. I would if I have those picks, I would probably, if Moore declares, I would draft more. I would at 18. I would get a lineman I'm getting a lineman. It just depends who would be there. You guessed around some names. I don't know if Fano would still be there at 18. I feel like he would go a little bit higher. I like Laulu, that he's from Oregon. He's been playing pretty solid. I like him. I would go after him. And then in the 33rd, I would go defensive BPA. So whoever is top guy, I would go after him if that's the scenario that plays out. And I feel like with having these many issues defensively, we have to also start addressing defense. We can go out and get a free agent wide receiver. I mean, we could still draft one, but I mean, you can always utilize that pick defensively. I think that's probably the route that you go. But yeah, I would go offense for the first rounders, and then defense for that first second rounder as well. So it just depends how all this plays out, and that'd be crazy. So that'll be crazy if we're able to go ahead and make a trade with the Jets, and we traded away Max, and we're able to go ahead and get multiple first round picks. Aside from the two that they have, that would be fucking insane. That would be a definitely game changer. We're gonna go ahead and get some score predictions. What do you guys think tomorrow's game is gonna go ahead? What is the final score? Do you guys think it is gonna be for tomorrow's game? That we can go ahead and officially wrap up this horrible season. I want to get everybody's takes on this real quick. One more, and then the nightmare is over.
Yeah.
Alex, where do you think tomorrow's score is gonna be?
I think it'll be 23-6 Kansas City.
23-6 Kansas City. Okay.
Secure the number one pick, and off to the offseason, man.
Yep, for sure.
I gotta stick with what I've been doing all season, because you guys yelled at me when I wanted to change it a couple of weeks ago, the week before Christmas, because you said, no, you're probably gonna jinx us. So I'm sticking with the 30-21 Raiders win. So I've been saying that every week all season, that we're gonna get 30 points at some point. So
watch it happen the last fucking.
Oh, I'm sure that's probably exactly what's probably going to happen, because I tried changing it a few weeks ago. I said, "Oh, the score's going to be this," and you and Leo were like, "Oh, no, you can't change that. What happened to the 30-21? You're going to jinx it." I'm like, "All right, fine. I'll stick with the 30-21." So
yeah,
I'm going 30-21. Raiders win.
Yeah, there you go. I
Just
think
pray to God that if that is the case, the other teams that needed to lose or win or whatever the scenario is, works out in our favor. So by the time our game starts, it won't matter whether we would lose at that point.
Exactly. I think it's going to be 24-10 Chiefs. I think we're going to go ahead and lose. I don't think we have any chance of winning tomorrow. We can just go ahead and close that chapter.
We're that bad.
Yeah, see, like Deja was 31. Oh my god, that'd be fucking crazy. I hope it's just not a skunk. I don't think it'll be a skunk, but I think it's gonna be a low scoring. I think if we can get 10 points, I'll be okay with that. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. We could close the chapter on this terrible season.
We're gonna slam it shut, throw it in the basement, and fill it with cement, and forget all about this freaking season.
Yeah,
nothing. What good came out of this season?
And toss that bitch in the ocean. There you go.
Seriously, what good came from this season?
Getting the number 1 or number 2 pick.
That's it.
Only thing. That's it. Yeah. That's
the final outcome of the season. Us getting the number 1 draft pick potentially is the only good thing that came out of all this shit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the final segment of the show. The spotlight, meet our guests. This time is meet our guests, plural. So I have 2 guests on with me for this. Again, 1 year anniversary show of Good Morning Raiders. Again, thank you for everybody who's pulled up and rocked with us on the Saturday morning. We covered everything. We covered the last game. We covered the what if scenarios with Pete, if Pete leaves, and we covered the draft talk and what we're gonna do if we get the number 1 pick. We covered everything up and down. So great show all around. Appreciate you guys pulling up. Thank you guys for pulling up and joining with me on this Saturday morning for sure. But let me go ahead and cap it off with the spotlight. Meet our guests. Jeff, I didn't have this segment when we first did the inaugural show. This didn't come along till later on. I think I didn't do this. Yeah, I didn't even do this with you, Alex. I
No.
did this way later. So first time you guys could go ahead and rock with me on this one. So let me start with this, and I'd like to start with this question: who is on your Raiders Mount Rushmore? I'm going to start with Alex because I kind of know yours, Jeff. But let me start with Alex. Who would you put on your Raiders Mount Rushmore if you had to go ahead and choose?
All right, so Mount Rushmore. That's what? That's 4 players, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Man, I gotta go for sure. I gotta for sure Charles Woodson. Um, even though I never saw him play, but like just respecting like the legacy and like what he did. Ken Stabler, gotta put him up there. Tim Brown, and that last one, oh my god, I don't know, because I was a really big Khalil Mack fan, but I'm also a really big Max Crosby fan. So it's like, man, I just if I had to choose, I'll go Max Crosby. I'll go Crosby.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's what's up. Jeff, I know a little bit your answer. You're more old school, so
Yeah,
let us
yeah,
know
I'm
who's
gonna
on your
definitely
Mount
be old
Rushmore.
school here. I'm keeping it real with the first team to win a Super Bowl, so I'm going with Gene Upshaw. I'm gonna go with Art Shell. I'm gonna go with John Madden, and I gotta throw Howie in there. You know, Howie's still the epitome of what it meant to be a Raider in the late '80s, or actually early '80s into the 91 when he retired. So yeah, that's who I'm going with. So
Yeah,
Art Shell, Gene Upshaw, John Madden, and Howie Long. I think still probably 3 of the most nastiest players we've had, and just the best coach even to this day that we've ever had.
yeah, for sure.
Facts.
All right. Let me move into the meet our guest portion of the segment. So this is time where we get to know our guests. We take time out of the show, get to know our guests, and obviously today's guests are Raider Jeff and Raider Alex. So let me go ahead and start with this, and I'll start with you, Jeff. I'll go ahead and flip it around this time. Let's start from the beginning. Have you been a Raider fan for? And then what really was it that made you fall in love with the silver and black?
Uh, Going back to 1975. So the first year we were in the Super Bowl that season. Um, Being on the East Coast, living in Rhode Island, we didn't get to see the Raiders on TV much. So everything around here was Patriots. I was never a Patriots fan. Um, but the only time you get to see the Raiders around here was when they were in the playoffs. And they were in the playoffs a lot. So you get to see them a lot in postseason around here. And the very first time I saw them on TV, it was just that impact of just the grittiness, just the shield, like the image, the logo. It was just everything that just kind of struck with me. And from that day on, I've been a Raiders fan. I've been lucky enough to see us with all 3 Super Bowl wins. So that's one thing I can definitely take away from this was being alive to see all 3 of those and see the team transition from Oakland to LA, back to Oakland, and now to Vegas. Saw the different style of teams through the years, and I wouldn't change anything, even though we've been so bad lately. I'm a Raider fan till the day till the day I'm put in the earth, man. That's it. There ain't no other team for me.
Yeah, yeah, good. What about you, Alex? So what how long have you been a Raider fan for? And then what really was it that made you fall in love with the silver and black?
Yeah, I've been a Raiders fan since I think like the first season I was actually like watching and like supporting the team was, I believe it was, I think it was that 2011 season when Hugh Jackson took over and then we traded for Carson Palmer and everything like that. And yeah, I grew up here in Portland, Oregon, so like growing up, I also I didn't get a lot of Raiders games here. Like mainly it was a
Yeah,
lot of like Seahawks games or like Patriots, just because like back then they were like the best team in the league. But I don't know, man. I think it was just kind of one of those things that like it's just like the mystique the franchise had. It was just like one of those things, man. When I seen like that shield, the silver helmet, and everything, I was like, man,
yeah,
I can't. There's no other team that I could really identify with besides the Raiders. So just ever since that point on, like I was a Raiders fan, and yeah, just kind of like he said, man, I'm a diehard until I die, man. I hopefully in the future I can see a Super Bowl victory. shit, at this point, I'm hoping for a playoff victory. But let's hope
Yeah.
in the future, man, we can experience something like that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you guys about your content journey. What really inspired you guys to start to take up, content creating and be a, quote unquote, a content creator, talking about the Raiders? What's been like the most rewarding part of your journey? I'll go back to you, Alex. What inspired you to even start doing all this stuff?
I just thought I was really passionate about it. I mean, I think it's fun too, just like creating the content, and I think like the most rewarding part of this is just like interacting with other people that have the same passion as you. Kind of like I said, I'm out here in Portland, Oregon. At the end of the day, it's Raider Nation. There's Raiders fans everywhere, but it's not like other places where there's like a lot of Raider fans. So for me, I kind of have to like connect outside of my circle here to like connect with other people that are diehard Raiders fans. So yeah, man, that's just kind of where it started for me, and just that's where it's taken me thus far.
Yeah. What about you, Jeff? What really made you decide, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and start a YouTube page and start talking about
Well,
this
I,
team
I
that I
had a
like?
YouTube. Yeah, I had a YouTube channel for about a year and a half doing something completely different. I was doing like military style models, and it just wasn't. This just wasn't a huge following for it at that time. So
Yeah,
I was just sitting here one day, just like, what else can I do? And then I just started. Just something popped up, a Raiders thing, random thing just showed up, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I not doing that? I'm like, I've been a fan for so goddamn long. I've got a lot to say about the team. I said, why am I not doing this? So my journey started in Raider content August of 2024. And then from that point on, it's just everything's been skyrocketing. You and I pretty much got into it around the same time, Jay.
yeah. We're
I
like a
hooked up
month
with
apart.
Nate LV Raider 10 real early, and best thing I ever did was getting involved with him. Then I somehow got involved with you and Leo, and then Leo wanted to start that 4-man show on Wednesday nights, and he had mentioned your name, and I threw Nate's name in there as a potential fourth guy, and boom! I mean, we've got a hell of a thing going on Wednesday nights. We've been at it
Yeah,
for over a year and a half doing
over
that
a year. Yeah,
basically.
yeah,
We started early in the season in 2024, so I've loved every minute of doing this. I've met some amazing people. Just the people in the chat alone. I've met some in person. Like I got to meet Raider Will. Nate came out here for week one. That kind of made that whole journey of doing this YouTube thing feel more complete in a way, because I finally got to meet a kid that I've been doing shows with almost since the start. You know, so it's just been. I wouldn't take anything away from what I've been doing. It just
yeah,
the involvement with the whole Raider community now is just so much different doing this versus on a small scale in my local, vicinity. I love every
yeah,
minute of it. Love it.
yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Let me ask you guys this, and I'll cap off the show this way. What do you guys what should everybody look? Do you guys have anything you guys are working on? What should everybody look out for in the near future? Or are you guys premiering probably right away? Let them know. I'll start with you, Jeff. What do you have going on? Anything that everybody should be looking out for? Anything maybe you potentially have in the works that you want to go ahead and share with everyone?
I mean, obviously, everybody knows I have the Raider connection with my guy here, Jay, Leo, and LV Raider 10. That's like our flagship show. The four of us are on. I've got the TBH show on Tuesday nights with Raider Will, Leo, and James from the military chapter that handles all the Black Holes social media stuff. Thursday nights, it's Nate and I on Thursday nights doing the Raiders Coast to Coast. We both shows that and the connection have been off for the last couple of weeks because of the holidays, but we'll be back in full force this week. Raider Connection will be back. Coast to Coast will be back. I've got my new venture that I started last night for the first time. It's called the No Huddle Show. Starts at 9:00 Eastern on Friday nights. It's open to any fan in the NFL. You don't have to be a Raiders fan. I'm implore you, if you're a fan of another team, to come into the show get in the chat on a Friday night at 9:00. And if you want to talk your team, I drop the link. I bring one person up at a time on the screen. I had Randy N, who's a Broncos fan, on there last night. I had Joe Parr on there, who's a Raiders fan. So it's not so much Raider content. We are still talking Raiders somewhat, but it's all about the NFL. I'm trying to broaden my horizons and give other fans of other teams a platform to speak their team, is the vision I have for that. So right now I don't have anything else in the plan, so I've kind of backed down from all the shows I was doing before. So I may have some other stuff coming up in the future, but
yeah, that's a good one.
My big one is the Friday night one. It's a complete change from what it used to be. It used to be a mic drop. We'd have like 8 people on screen, and it just became, after doing that for about a year, it was too much. Now it was time to take a break from that one. So I reformatted the Friday night.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good one. It's just talking straight football. Not just Raiders, but all the other teams in general. So, I think you picked the perfect timing, bro. Because like we're about to start, the NFL playoffs are about to start. So that's hot talk. Whether hey, there's certain teams that I kind of keep out because I still watch the playoffs, and then there's certain teams that I keep my eye on. But yeah, if you just love straight football talk, definitely hit up that Friday show. The inaugural show was literally the other day, so great show. Definitely got to go ahead and pull up on that. I gotta go on there and help you represent our team, bro, for sure. Even though we're not competitive, but even having some playoff talk, definitely I'll probably jump on there the next couple.
Yeah, it's the only time we get to talk playoff talk is about other teams.
All other teams.
About other teams, I know, like fucking Bills look good. Yeah, so there you go.
That's the sad part if you think about it too. All the booster clubs and now that I'm part of the TBH and everything, I've never been able to experience a watch party of us in the playoffs. Seriously.
Yeah.
In the 20 years that those two clubs have been around, never been able to be together as a group and watch the playoff game.
Yeah.
Because we're just so bad.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Alex? What do you have? You have anything in the works? What should everybody kind of look out from you, and then where kind of they find you at?
Yeah, man, I'm just gonna keep grinding out with the YouTube videos, on Instagram too. Just gonna try to grow it as much as I can. The one thing maybe I'm thinking about doing is like maybe expanding my horizons a little bit when it comes to Raiders content, just because like I mainly just do like general information on like the current state of the team, like basically current news and topics like that. But I'm thinking like there's certain times, especially in the off season, where it's dead. It's like not much to talk about. Maybe we can do like some documentary style videos of like, Raiders in the past, things of that nature. But yeah, man, that's where we're at with it.
Cool. And then make sure you guys go ahead and again pull up to make sure you guys first hit that like and subscribe on both of the channels. Make sure you guys go ahead and tap into Jeff's channel. It's 41_ Raider Jeff. You can go ahead and I have his link pinned down below in the chat, and then make sure you guys go ahead and tap into Raider Alex's channel as well. It's Raider Alex Official on YouTube. And then also you have Instagram and X. And then are you active on TikTok? Because I found you on TikTok, but I don't know if you're active or not.
I am a little bit. I need to be more active on it, but yeah, I try to. I'm not as active as I should be, but yeah, I do have a TikTok as well.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just so much different than Instagram, and it's like
it is different algorithm too. Because sometimes I'll put up shit on TikTok and it'll hit, and then it won't hit on IG, and then vice versa. It will just flip up, and then sometimes you catch some slack on TikTok that you wouldn't necessarily catch on IG, and it's just weird. It's weird sometimes, but yeah. But make sure you guys go ahead and tap into Alex's channel. He has fire videos. He just put one out of Mendoza the other day, so make sure you guys go ahead and check that one out. It's really good video. Real quick before I end this show, shout out to my guy Navman on a $10 super. He says, "Happy 1 year anniversary, Jay. I think it was your first. I was your first member. Much love to all and to the nation. New season, new start. I'm pretty excited about what's to come. Mendoza is that dude. Shout out to Nav on the $10 super. Appreciate you, my guy. I think you were my first member. You're one of the first. You're up there for sure. I think Jeff is like kind of right behind you once I got monetized, and then the wife is like right there. She's either number 2 or number 3. She's there. So she's been there through the thick of things. So salute to all of you. Salute to everybody. Salute to all the members. Salute to the mods. Everybody that pulls up and rocks with me. Every Saturday, every Monday, every Wednesday, post-game reaction shows, all of those. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate to everybody who rocks with Jeff, who rocks with Alex, who rocks with everybody who supports Raider Nation and a whole. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for just being there. Thank you guys for being you. Even if you guys don't spectate, if you guys don't participate in the chat, just spectators. Hey, that's all good. Much love to you guys. But
can you just give James Firpo a Raiders? Because he's upset. I told him, I said, this is Jay's studio. I'm not in mine. So make sure you give him a Raiders.
Oh, yeah, bro. Trust me. I always cap it off, bro. I never forget about my guy, James, bro.
It's still a Raiders channel, damn it.
It always is a Raiders channel. And I always will cap it off the right way, dog. You already know. Here we go. Raiders! Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You just got Saturday's a little bit different, dog. So I wait till there's a break, and then I can go ahead and run the Raiders real quick. You already know, man.
There you go, James. Told you I got you.
Salute to you, brother. Thank you, man, for pulling up. James will always pull up, even if he has a minute. This guy will come in and just go ahead and Raiders, bro. Even if he got 10 things going on, he's like, look, I'm in it, and I'm in it and work, dog. I just came in to say Raiders, and then peace
I'm
out.
on break. I got 10 minutes.
Yes, exactly. 10 minutes.
A few Raiders, and then he leaves.
He'll throw up the deuce like he just did to Weber, bro. And he's just like, peace, dog. Salute to you, brother. Thank you, man, for pulling up for sure. But that is the show for today. Again, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button on all the channels here. Mine Just Raiders, baby. Again, my guy 41 Raider Jeff. Make sure you guys go ahead and give him a subscribe. And then again, make sure you guys go ahead and give Alex's channel a subscribe. His is Raider Alex Official on YouTube. So make sure you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe. His link, I got the link to his channel pinned down below in the description. If you guys need to go ahead and find it.
Yeah, I just posted it in my chat too. So anybody in my chat will have his link too.
Yeah. But great show, guys. Thank you guys for coming on. Appreciate you guys. Great way to go ahead and really do a one year anniversary show, and hopefully tomorrow we can go ahead and cinch in the number 1 pick for this year's draft that's coming up, and then we can go ahead and do whatever we want to go ahead and do with that pick. Either go ahead and play it or trade it away, but at least we have that option. So
it's nice to have
that's it for you guys. Thank you guys.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Congrats
on the 1 year too on this show.
Congrats, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. So that's it. We'll see you guys next time. Always remember, Just Raiders, baby. Salute. Bye, everybody. Till next time. Peace. Let me try and find that thing. Here we go. Later. Shield. Good morning, brother. How you doing? My guy, Lunatic Raider, Raider Legions. What is good?
We on? Oh, hey!
We on. None other than that, Mr. Fist, bringing none other than our guy, Joe Morley, bring out none other than the Violator, Wayne Aubrey, bring out none other than the notorious